fellow business owners, Matt and Dan Anton from backlinksvault.com. This is an informational video and blog post on Pinterest marketing. Regardless of what type of website or business you run, this is going to really help you get set on the right track, whether you've been on Pinterest for a while now and you want to look at things from a new perspective. We're going to give you some tips, guidelines on how to get started right now, some actionable things you can do. Some examples as well, it's not all theory, and best practices. Okay, so if you haven't heard of Pinterest, where have you been? It's a top 50 website on the internet, and it's basically a visual Twitter. Okay, so I'll just go over briefly what we're going to go over in this video and blog post. If you're looking at this video and you're not on the blog post, just click on the link in the description and it'll take you there and you'll be able to follow along. Or you can just listen to it and try to understand without the blog post if you have to. Okay, the video includes Pinterest at its most basic level of marketing, Pinterest for branding, Pinterest for bloggers, Pinterest for infographics, Pinterest for viral, funny, or bizarre images, Pinterest for videos, Pinterest for e-commerce, Pinterest for brick and mortars, and then I'll go over at the end a real basic tutorial on how to create a board and how to create a pin, but I'll probably go along with that actually throughout this video, and then you'll learn of our Pinterest marketing service as well. Okay, so Pinterest at its most basic level of marketing. This is for people that have never used Pinterest before, or they're on it and they're not really doing anything with it, and they're, you got to have some benefit for your time putting into something. So if you're not really putting any time or effort into Pinterest, this is step one right here. So basically what you'll want to do is you'll want to create a pin and link back to your website. An example is the one in the blog post, and if you're, please full screen this video and watch in high definition as well if you're not, so you can better see what's going on. So we'll see this pin. This is an example of something pinned on Pinterest. You can see that it pulled the image from the website, and if you click on it, it links back to the website Bookmarking Beast, which is a service of ours. Okay? So, as you'll see, we didn't do anything special. All we did is we created a pin, added our link, and then it pulled this image for us. This is the most basic level of using Pinterest. This requires no artistic ability, no advanced marketing or effort. You just simply add your web page, pin it, and now it's on Pinterest, and you instantly have more credibility as your website's on a top 50 website with PageRank 8, which means it's highly trusted by Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, Pinterest for branding. Now, everyone doesn't have a brand they're trying to create, but I really believe you should. On Pinterest, you can, since it's so visual based, you can really help do a blanket approach to your brand. And in the blog post and in this link I'll show you now, you'll see a good example of that. This is a search for Coca-Cola, and when you go to it, immediately some things just pop in your head, like, yes, this makes sense, this is Coca-Cola. I see the beautiful young women, you know how they always do the vintage marketing. You see the polar bears, of course you see the bottled Coca-Cola, the young people. It's almost like, from a time, from what a better time and place in your life is Coca-Cola. That's almost what their brand message is. Of course, you see the funny image of the animal drinking Coca-Cola. So basically, when you do a search for that brand on Pinterest, you want your brand message to be ubiquitous, to be universal, and to be understood. And Pinterest is really good for that because it's so visual based, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. So that's why brands should really take advantage of this. I don't know if every single brand is doing something like this, but even this is probably a great opportunity for smaller brands to start getting recognized through Pinterest. Now, if you're Joe's random fish shop somewhere, of course it's going to be less effective to create a brand message on Pinterest, but you still should nonetheless. Pinterest for bloggers. Now, as I go through these, you're not necessarily going to be doing all of them, but the more of categories that you can fit into or become part of, the better, basically the healthier your Pinterest marketing campaign will be. Blogs can be boring and just suck. So basically, what you want to see in a blog is something more digestible, more easily understood, more shareable, and that comes with images. So what Pinterest has helped me personally do is realize that I need more images on my blogs, and I also need to create more blog posts. But that's another story. But that's why I created this image up here. Basically, it's made of a borrowed, I would say stolen, image on the internet of a beautiful woman screaming into a microphone. The Pinterest logo I slapped on the, I don't even, I'm gonna butcher that. What is that thing called? I have no idea. I'm not that smart. And then you see a random audience image, and then you see a red arrow pointing to somebody. And it's just an image that I threw together with Microsoft Paint. Some people are Photoshop ninjas, so you can do a better job. But the idea of this is that you should really add images to your blogs, and even if you don't add your own unique images, I actually have to change this example on the site, but there's other websites are using stock images, as you can see for this. I mean, this isn't an image someone took, recently. You could tell this is an old image or something of a tomato. It's just a stock image probably, and that's what a lot of bloggers are doing. You can get away with that. A stock image is better than no image, and an original image is better than a stock image. But of course, there's pros and cons to everything. Nice cartoon image or something funny or something along those lines. Or if all else fails, as I point out in the blog post, you can throw up random pictures of women in tight clothing and just go with the flow. I mean, look at this guy. Shoe Money. He's a very well-known, very well-respected internet blogger. He's very smart, and I guess that's why he did this, because as you know, sex sells. But I mean, really, what does this woman have to do with anything to do with internet marketing? And she's wearing that shirt. Yeah, is that her Friday night outfit? The Shoe Money logo on the white T-shirt. So that's a bit ridiculous. But if he can do that, then you can certainly add random images to your blog posts as well. Okay, the next thing you want to use Pinterest for is for infographics. Now this is either going to take a certain skill set or money on your part. You could pay someone to create an infographic for you on a site like Freelancer, or if you know a designer or something like that. Basically, what an infographic is just a condensed version of a lot of information in an image. As my Skype goes off. Yeah, this video is cool, Dan. Let's see here. Where was I? Okay, so some infographics are just horrible. They try to show too much. The rise and fall of civilizations. You know what I mean? That's too broad. But if it was the rise and fall of Rome, that's obviously still a huge category, but it's a lot smaller than mankind's civilization. So you want to make sure that your infographic is short, but not too ridiculous. And this is not all theory. As we can see, I have an example of a really well-made infographic. I'll tell you why it's not only well-made because it's eye-catching. It also plays on the fact that, brains, everybody loves zombies. A lot of people, including myself, love The Walking Dead and the zombie niche and horror niche and things like that. Fantasy is just really a nice escape. So a lot of people like it, and they want to know what it does to their body. What are the psychological effects? 27% screaming, 24% shaking, etc. Now, these are probably looking at this again. These are probably bogus stats. I mean, did he really conduct this survey? I don't know. I guess it really doesn't matter. The point is that it's interactive and it's fun, and people share this type of stuff on social networks all the time. And the funny thing is no one wants to be the first person to share something. It's just human nature. We want someone else to have social proof to something. So once you share it on one network and that gets established there, then it's like, oh, okay, this is a value. Other people have vouched for this. Now I'm going to share it on my social network. So you can see it's got a huge response, 590 likes, over 1,000 tweets, 4 Google+. I mean, that's pretty weak, but Google+ is hopefully catching up, become more popular. And then you see the pins. We don't see the count, but there's a way to find the exact number of repins by plugging in this URL on the blog post. You can see, and this last part of the URL, you can just enter your URL and you'll be able to see how many pins and repins go to your site. So here we see 766 repins to this particular infographic. That's a really good result for this marketing campaign. He's basically he's established himself on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, which are the big three. So that's, and not only that, what I want to come back to is the fact that this is, see, there's a call to action. Not only is it an infographic, but it's an offer. It's an offer combined with an infographic. So it doesn't have to be an offer, but it's a call to action. So say if you had an infographic about, the consumption of fossil fuels or something like that, and you wanted your call to action to be go green, get solar paneling on your house. The sky's the limit. He runs a special cables deals website. It's a high quality website, but it's very loosely connected to this infographic. It's a horror film, so I guess that's related to cable. But he also tied it into an offer, a call to action. So if you can create an infographic with a call to action, whether it's join your list, subscribe, buy something, I don't know. You'd have to figure out exactly what you want to promote. But an image with a call to action and marketed well on Pinterest is going to result, in hopefully more subscribers, more money in your pocket, and just a bigger brand and company presence. Okay, Pinterest for viral images, funny, bizarre, weird. Now I'm sure you've all seen random funny images on the internet. I'm sure you remember when we saw Britney Spears' shaved head that was floating around for a long time. She looked crazy. Everyone was sharing that. I'm not saying you necessarily have to be the first one to jump on something like that. You don't even have to. Have you ever seen the dramatic chipmunk, where the chipmunk turns his head really dramatic? If not, go to YouTube and check it out. It's like dun dun, the chipmunk turns his head, and it's been shared a million times, and no one really knows. I don't know who the originator was of that content or who first took the picture of Britney Spears. I'm sure TMZ might have, but it's ended up probably on thousands or millions of blogs, and the same thing with the chipmunk. So what I did, and if you get all hot and bothered easily, close your eyes, was uploading an image that I did not own, but I found on the internet, and then I linked it back to my website. So here's the image. Bam. Just roll me over, darling, because I'm laying on your present. It's a naked, sexy Santa. What is he laying on, a polar bear rug? Kind of looks like a Coca-Cola ad. They tie things all together, doesn't it? Minus the Coca-Cola and probably clothing. All right, but you can see that this links back to our website, Backlinks Vault. If you go to Backlinks Vault and then you scroll down, you'll notice that we have no naked Santas on our page, thankfully. And what this shows is that you can add pins on Pinterest, link them back to your website, and they don't even exist on your website. This kind of opens up Pandora's box to a lot of advanced tactics. So if you see something trending on Twitter or Facebook or just something in the news, and it's not on Pinterest yet, you can upload it to Pinterest, and you would do it like this. You go to add, not add a pin, not create a board, you go to upload a pin, you go to browse, you would add the image. I'm not going to do it right now since I already added it, and then what it would do is it would create the pin. You would add a description for it, obviously, and then you would go to the pin. This is the URL for it. I think it would automatically bring you there, and then you could click edit. I'm on a random account, obviously I'm not Jeff. And then see here, this is usually blank if you just upload a pin. So I created the board funny, and now I added the description, and now I'm adding my link. I'm going to save it. And just like that, I have a funny, potentially viral image linking back to my website. Do I think this one's going to go viral and get any type of traction? Probably not. Most things don't. But you can be very clever with this tactic. You could find very funny images floating around. And I wouldn't do this necessarily to bloggers that are medium-sized or small, because that's really just, it's kind of like stealing in a way. It's a shady tactic of not giving proper credit to the original source. But if it's something like that chipmunk or Britney Spears shaved head, or something that's not creatively owned by somebody, just basically just a snapshot or a photo. I'm not saying photos aren't owned, but I'm gonna have photographers yelling at me. But it's something that is basically internet owned. I'll call it as that, But something like this, obviously somebody created this, and I just did it as an example. So that's a way you could probably get into some really advanced tactics with that. Or if you just want to create a funny board of things you like that you find, and you want to get backlinks to your site, doing it that way. Now, this is one of the most unique ways people are using Pinterest, but not a lot of people know about, is Pinterest for videos. Pinterest is a top 50 website, and YouTube is the number 2 website, and together you're going to cover some serious ground. Like I said, the blog post is a great opportunity. So basically, if you create a video on YouTube, Vimeo, what is it, Medic Cafe, Dailymotion, those are probably the top ones. You're going to want to add that as a pin, that YouTube video or whatever video it is, to Pinterest, and it'll just float around in the video section. As you can see, there is a categories for videos, and if you click on it, it'll actually stream the video right within the pin. So it's just like a double whammy. Not only is it great to do video marketing for whatever you're doing, but now you also have the added benefit of having it on Pinterest, which is incredible because everyone loves images, but videos are even that much more interactive and interesting, in my opinion. So make sure you're doing that. Pinterest for e-commerce is probably the most obvious thing that most people are doing. In fact, when Pinterest first came out, it had a problem because everyone was uploading images from Amazon and eBay, and they would link to these sites with their affiliate links. People would click on it not knowing, and then they would eventually buy something. Now, I don't really necessarily see something wrong with that if somebody's going to take the effort to add an image and link to it and all that, but that's besides the point. The point is that they crack down on it, but that's just for Amazon and affiliates. But hopefully you sell your own service or products, or you have a client, if you're a marketer, that you have a client that sells his own products. There's e-commerce sites out here with thousands and hundreds of thousands of products. Now, if they all were to just get pins back to them, they would become a powerhouse. If you sell 5,000 products, you should have 5,000 unique pins on Pinterest at a minimum. If you have, usually your e-commerce site will have an image and a description. So when you go to add the pin, it'll pull the image, and then you can just copy and paste the description. Literally, probably 10 to 15 seconds for each one, and you'll be covered. It'll add 5,000 links back to your website from a PageRank 8 website, which means Google highly trusts Pinterest, as well as Danny Sullivan, Rand Fishkin. A lot of the powerhouses in search engine optimization have come out and said that yes, from our analysis, Google is really trusting Pinterest. So it'll help get all those pages crawled, indexed. Your site, no matter how big it gets, will become easily crawlable and backlinked as well. So it's a really good strategy to get deep links back to your website to help rank better for those terms. Pinterest for brick and mortar. I think this is by far the most underutilized tactic and probably the most exciting one. I really love the initiative done by Google where they were driving around, taking images of people of the road, Google Maps for the roads, so you could navigate by the roads. But also, I think they were doing this at businesses as well. And I really love the idea of this. And how often have you done a search for a local restaurant and you can't find any images of the place? You can't find what it looks like on the outside. You can't find what it looks like on the inside. You have no idea, really how you should dress, what the people, are they friendly, what kind of atmosphere it is, any of that stuff. And what do? You go, this stinks, and you close it out. But if you run into, say, if you're looking for a new dentist or something like that, and you see, okay, they have a 360-degree, spread of their office, the outside, the inside, the staff, the doctor themselves smiling, maybe the description is more like a bio. So you can really leverage Pinterest heavily if you run for local businesses, whether you own a brick and mortar yourself or you have a client who runs brick and mortar. They're going to love this. This is really a good way to help interact with your customers and clients. So definitely get on that. So we did go over I believe how to create a pin. If not, I'll just go over it real briefly. You can click the add button, add a pin. You would just enter your website, backlinksvault.com, click find images. Put in a category. Products I love, we'll say for this. Great online marketing resource, exclamation mark. Pin it. And now you can see that it actually pulled my video. I probably could have changed the image on it. Let me see if I could have edited it. No, you can't edit the image once it's repinned, but you can edit the other information, the link and that. But now you can see that this video does link back to our website, and we have successfully just created a pin for Backlinks Fall. And that could very easily have just been your website. Again, that literally probably took under 10 seconds to do that. So if you're not on Pinterest now, you really should be. And also, if you want, you can create a board also. So if you sell gardening supplies, that could, something like that, gardening supplies could be the name of your board. Select the category, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, gardening. You can actually have more people contribute to this as well, but, more often than not, it's just going to be you or the person who runs your Pinterest marketing, and then you'll create the board. And now when you add pins, you'll be able to, I hope this is a web address, gardening.com. Use that. We'll be able to throw this into the new thing you created, which is gardening supplies. Create a description. I just love gardening my flowers. Pin it. So now you'll see that the SEO of it, or the title of it, will be the name of the board followed by the pin. Gardening, I just love gardening my flowers, and then let's really hope this is a gardening site. No, it isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and edit it, delete the pin, and delete it. So in this video we covered, let's go over it again. I have to even check. Pinterest basic level of marketing, how to get started. Pinterest for branding. Pinterest for bloggers. Pinterest for infographics. Pinterest for viral images. Pinterest for videos. Pinterest for e-commerce. Pinterest for brick and mortar. How to create your first pin. How to create a board. And the SEO behind it. Final thoughts. Pinterest deserves your time and effort. What it doesn't deserve, however, is your trolling. This means I wouldn't use Pinterest and start adding or start following other people, liking their pins, repinning their stuff. I wouldn't try to necessarily create a community around Pinterest, and a lot of that kind of flies in the face of a lot of conventional wisdom that, oh, you got to interact with the community. But I would argue that just by being on Pinterest, your business or yourself, and adding your visual content, that is your contribution to Pinterest. Much like Facebook or Twitter, your goal isn't to interact with everyone on there. Your goal is to create a business or a brand company-wide message, and then syndicate that, disseminate that information as efficiently as possible. So you should go on Pinterest and browse around it, for 10 to 15 minutes, just to get an idea of how it works, what people are pinning and repinning. But after that, I would not get. It's kind of, it's a trap almost. You could find yourself on here for hours just looking at random images. Nice tattoo, a woman, food. I see that, Pinterest is it's a heavily woman demographic. You see a lot of food, you see a lot more food, random, you'll see random stuff. Women are very artistic, so you'll see nice arts and crafts and things like that. Clothing, you'll see a lot of stuff for pets also, you'll see. So you won't necessarily see too much men's stuff, but I have seen men things on here, things marketed to, just men. But the thing is that Pinterest, let's check the Alexa rank, is a top 38 website. Do you realize how much traffic Pinterest gets? Pinterest sends more referral traffic now, I believe, than Yahoo's entire search engine. So there's a huge ecosystem just in Pinterest alone. So if you can get established on Pinterest, you're just going to be that much, you'll be that much more stable with your sources of traffic. You won't be relying on just, a handful of sources, which might just be Google right now. So if you can hopefully branch out into Pinterest and do it efficiently as possible, that's the way to go. Now I want to say that you can do all these things manually. I just showed you how to create a pin, all the best practices for the different things. And we also run a service to help get you more repins, likes, and comments. and that can be seen on PinterestBacklinks.com, which is just focused on Pinterest, which you can go to. And I would only recommend subscribing or signing up if you are already profitable or uniquely positioned to become profitable, like if you have a new product or you're entering a new market that's untapped. But Pinterest certainly deserves marketing dollars because they are a top 38 website, and they are making people a small fortune every day. You have to be creative and clever with it, like any marketing. But we've shown you the basics of it. And we also run Bookmarking Beast, which is a social bookmarking / media service. And we also submit to Pinterest through this service, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, StumbleUpon, Delicious, all the top ones. So Pinterest Backlinks focuses just on Pinterest, and Bookmarking Beast does them all, but it does it on a smaller scale, just one each. So those are the two services we provide personally for this wonderful platform that is Pinterest. Again, fellow webmasters, I want to thank you very much for looking at this video and this blog, and I really hope that you put some of these ideas into action, because without action